Hey guys, my name is Game & Watch, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a documentary film from 2007 called Heckler, directed by Michael Addis, and featuring the stellar comedian Jamie Kennedy of the Jamie Kennedy Experiment or Exposure, Example, or whatever the fuck his show is called. I'm sure as you deduced from the title of the film, it's about hecklers, but it's about three distinct types of hecklers. The first being the traditional kind, the ones you'd see at a comedy show. The ones that get drunk and yell shit at the comedian on stage. The second type of heckler that Jamie Kennedy wants to attack is the critic, the film critic. The third type of heckler being the internet critic, the blogger in particular. He takes a good portion of that segment attacking the entire concept of a blog. But the problem with this is that the entire tone of the film is Jamie Kennedy hates critics because his work wasn't well received. They take his films and they bring in the reviewers of his films and they put them in front of the camera a lot. They do this a few times during the movie. And Jamie Kennedy says, "Why do you hate my movie?" And the critic lists his reasons. And Jamie Kennedy just sits there in shock and says, "Wow, why do you hate me?" And the critic responds, dumbfounded, with, "I don't hate you, I hate your work." The entire tone of the movie is that Jamie Kennedy's work isn't good. It's objectively not good. And so instead of what most rational people would do when their work isn't well received, they improve their craft. That's what I would do. I've received negative criticism on my work. And when I get back to working on it, I'd say, wow, this wasn't well received. I should probably make it better. What Jamie Kennedy does is he gets bad reviews, and he goes back and he says, wow, I got bad reviews. Fuck everybody who gave me bad reviews. I'm going to keep everything the exact same way and just whine about it. I mean, because 95% of the film is just talking heads. It's not well shot at all. It's not interesting. He brings in comedians such as the Carrot Top and Louie Anderson, and I think Eugene Merman shows up in there for a scene or two, but he doesn't have a lot of screen time because he has a career to get back to. But he brings in these people for one soundbite, and so you never really get a chance to connect with anybody who's in the film. The only person that's prominently featured in the film is Jamie Kennedy, but Jamie Kennedy isn't, like, he's not described as a likable character. He's described as a whiny baby who can't take criticism from anybody. He can't take criticism from people he's never met. He did this with the critic at one point too. He brings hecklers backstage and says, "Why were you guys heckling me? We don't think you're funny. Why do you hate me?" The whole film is a straw man argument because Jamie Kennedy doesn't understand that just because his work sucks doesn't mean he's shitty, and he takes it personally. There's some good ideas in the film. It would have been nice to see him stay on the heckler subject, because I feel like the heckler in a comedy club setting is a character that we don't really get explained that often. That part was interesting. I found myself enjoying that segment of the movie, but as soon as he moved into film critics, people who do know what they're talking about in the industry, people who have been in the industry, such as Roger Ebert, he attempts to defame them. He brings up Roger Ebert's film, which the name escapes me, and he says, "Man, this film sucks. It was a terrible film." And I'm like, then you're no better than they are. You just became a critic, Jamie Kennedy. How does it feel being a hypocrite? I also thought it was a bit odd how he chose to give certain comedians a lot of screen time. For example, he gave Carrot Top a lot of screen time. And so I don't know if having Carrot Top explain his run-ins with critics, I don't know if that's really a way to drive home your point. I think it's basically just reaffirming the critic's position. There are a few positives about the film. Number one, it's short, so if you do decide to torture yourself and watch it, you won't be wasting that much time. It's only about 80 minutes long, and for 80 minutes, you could do worse. I mean, you could be watching Jonah Hex. Another positive side, as I said, the first segment about hecklers in comedy clubs, actually pretty interesting. I found myself enjoying that segment quite a bit. I also think it's commendable. They had a lot of material. I mean, as I said, 95% of the movie is interview, and they interviewed a lot of people. And that, I mean, I have to give credit where credit is due. That's a lot of shooting. It's not like other documentaries where they only take about 10, 15 people. There must have been at least 30 people introduced in the first segment alone. So I mean, props on the amount of footage, but man, what they did with that footage is terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's not unwatchable. I mean, you could watch it if you really wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend it. This is normally the time where I'd say, if you're a Jamie Kennedy fan, I'd recommend it. But they'd probably just end up getting pissed for completely different reasons altogether. So I'm not sure if I can really recommend this movie to anyone. So, yeah. Heckler, shitty. Don't waste your time. This is Game & Watch. Hope you've enjoyed my review.